Yo, what's going on, man? It's your boy DT3 with your boy Magnus. You are on the show DT-Magnus Boxing Talk Podcast 103. Welcome to the show. Good afternoon to my brother.
Good morning to you, sir. How's it going over there in California?
Man, it's a nice sunny day out here in California. Beautiful weather, all kinds of sunshines and rainbows, you know what I'm saying? So we want to get into this boxing talk. We kind of want to let the masses kind of just flow right on in here and see where we at. We want to wait a little bit, give it some time. We got a couple of comments. We got some people that just slid in. Speaking about the stream, yo, what's going on, Lofi? What's going on, Hamid? Two people that slid in. What's going on with my peeps? What's going on?
What's up, beautiful people?
OTF in the building. Where you been at, OTF? Where you been at, man? Where have you been?
OTF TV. What's up, morning, King?
TV.
Good afternoon, King.
Where have you been, my brother? It's been a minute since I seen you. What's going on, Hamid?
Bless up. Hamid Ali. Good morning to you, sir.
Let's get to these comments real fast before we go in real quick.
Why I don't see the chat?
What's up, Suleiman? Peace and pugilism to you too, my brother.
Peace and pugilism, Suleiman. What's going on?
What's good, calculated risk? What's going on? What's going on?
Peace and pugilism, calculated risk. Why I don't see the chat?
Man, I need you to be making content, OTF. I know you've been around, but I need you to make content, bro. You was supposed to be original NBBC, bro. You was one of the main reasons that got me on YouTube as well, bro. I have to give credit where credit's due.
Where's the chat?
Shout out to my boy OTF.
The chat's not shown on my side. What's up?
It's not?
No. Lisa Bales. Peace and pugilism, sweetheart.
What's going on, Lisa Bales? Check. Use your mobile device and see if it'll work on your mobile device.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
With honey. Yes, it be with honey.
Who else is in the building?
Man, the comments are just going crazy, man. It's going crazy. People commenting pretty quick.
We got 19 beautiful people in here. Hit the like button on your way in, please.
Please hit the like button on your way in, man. We ain't even got started in the boxing talk yet. What's up, Chris? What's up, Loke? What's going on, man? What's going on? Respect to you.
Lock dog. Peace and pugilism, dog. Peace and pugilism, PED. Samuel Shaw. Peace and pugilism, baby. Jemai King. Peace and pugilism. MR. Sup. What's up, MR? What's up? Jose Ramirez.
Jose in the building.
From Hesperia, California. Peace out to you. Peace and pugilism, baby. All righty. So, bro, did you see the Charlo and Harrison presser?
Yes, sir, I did see that. I saw it live and direct. What's going on with John Cable? Yes, I did. And I honestly have to say, from what I've heard, I have heard from different sides that Tony Harrison is in Jermell Charlo's head and all that. And I really don't see that Tony Harrison is in Jermell Charlo's head. I don't see that. What I see is just Jermell being Jermell. Jermell being his typical version of him, just a different version of himself. That's all. I think Jermell just tries to sound like he's extremely articulate, and he's not articulate at all. I think he's just another brother from the streets, and I think he needs to just keep to true persona and be real to himself instead of trying to put on the front like he's this real uptight businessman. He's not. That's not the persona that he is. That's not the person that he is. So I think he shouldn't be giving that off. And I don't think that Tony Harrison is in his head. I think I got Jermell beating him. I got Jermell beating him, taking him out in 8.
For real?
I got him stopping in 8. Yeah.
An early stoppage in the 8?
He can't go 12 with Tony Harrison. He got to stop him. That's his mindset. He got to stop him to beat him.
Basically, I think he was in that mug's head, Joe. You think Charlo was trying to be articulate?
He tried to be. He tried to be.
Man, no. Hell no. You think Charlo was trying to be articulate? Man,
He tried to be articulate.
That brother is quite emotional. Yo, I thought it was hilarious him saying that his big brother kicked his butt growing up. He said,
I didn't want to bring that up.
Well, I'm bringing it all up. He said, you can tell. Look, he said he got a Napoleon complex. Man, Harrison is all in that man's back. He's sitting right in the back of his skull, okay, with some popcorn and talking in his ear right now as we speak. He is talking. He can't get Harrison out of his head, bro. He said,
well, he had a pride in the car.
He said his big brother used to spank his butt growing up, bro. Damn. Come on, man. Charlie Harrison, hey, he don't want to get in the interchange with Charlie Harrison when it comes to talking that trash talk. He ain't it wasn't going well the whole. He stuck too.
Yeah, he had him crying in the car. He had him crying in the car.
What movie did that come from?
Friday.
You know you gonna cry.
You gonna cry in the car.
That joke was hilarious. It was unreal. Why ain't 2 hands up in yet? You put the link up?
Yet. I'm just still getting everybody to chime in. Then I'm gonna put the link in. Then I'm gonna put the link out. Once I get more people to slide in, then I'm gonna shoot the link out.
He had everything. He throws the whole kitchen sink at Charlo. The whole kitchen sink of trash talk at Charlo. When I think and let's be honest, the Charlos give a lot of people a lot of material to use against them. They give a lot of people a lot of material, man. You don't think he was anything? I think he has his whole foot, okay, just down in his head, down his esophagus, in his gut, and everything. I mean, the man Charlo, he's thinking about him right now. Charlo, he's echoing the things Harrison said in the press conference, is echoing in Charlo's ear right now as we speak. I'm serious. I know it. I know he felt some way saying his brother used to beat his butt because he's the mini. He's the little. He kept calling him the little.
He came out last.
He kept calling him the little one. The little Charlo. Oh my God.
Right. He is a small. He's the runt of the litter. You could say. He's the runt of the litters.
Why you say that, man? You just said you said he's the runt of the litter.
He's the runt of the litter.
Hardcore. I can't believe
that's a nice way of saying.
You called him the runt. That ain't no nice way of saying nothing. You called him the runt of the litter. What the hell? Oh my God. Are you serious? You just called the man the runt of the litter. I thought you was being nice. You ain't being nice.
Hey, that's me being nice. Okay. That's being nice. I've said a lot worse about the Charlos. IBFP is in the building, man. Shout out to IBFP, man. What's up, Noop?
IBFP, what's up? What's going on?
What's going down with my boy, man? So, I mean, who you got winning that fight? You got Harrison winning, or do you got Charlo basically getting them out of it?
Okay. I'm be strictly honest with you. I thought the first fight, and I said this, I made a video about this, that I thought the little Charlo actually squeaked out by maybe a hair of a chinny chin chin. It could have went either way the first fight. His brother fought the same night. I thought his brother actually lost the Korobov. So since I thought he squeaked out the first one, I think he's going to try to get this one out in dramatic fashion.
Okay.
I still think. Also, one question to you: do you think, because Charlo made claims that he think Harrison, one thing he did say in a press conference, like, you faked the injury. Do you think he was faking a knee injury or ankle injury?
No, I don't. Well, let me get this table real fast. I'm gonna let you go on this topic for real quick. I gotta get this table real quick, and I'm gonna get right back up in here. Okay, be right back.
Table. All right, cool. Bring a couple people in here. Bring two hands. Okay, guys, what's up? It's me on the spot right now. You feel me? Mr. Two Hands Up. What's up? DT3 got to put the link in two hands to get in here ASAP. All right? You know what I mean? But, yeah, I think the little Charlo is going to maybe squeak. Going to win the second one. I favor him. But let's see. Definitely if he said, okay, your man said he didn't want surgery on the knee or the ankle because he didn't want to reduce any mobility or anything like that. So if the injury happens to be true, that's going to restrict his movement. If it isn't healed 100%, that will restrict Harrison's movement a lot. And in the first fight, Harrison did move a lot. He stuck and moved quite a bit. So, and the little Charlo wasn't aggressive enough in the first one. So I think definitely Harrison's got in his head, made them piss little Charlo off quite a bit. Jermell Charlo, let me be respectful. And and yeah, I'm going to edge Charlo. I don't think he's going to get him out in the 8th round. I do believe if it doesn't go to the scorecards, in the last fight, Harrison wavered at the end of the fight, and Jermell Charlo did hurt him. So in the 12th round, he was wavering, and Jermell was on the verge of perhaps getting him out of there. I think if Jermell get him a couple of good shots in, can hurt Harrison. I'm guessing around 12th round TKO or a majority unanimous decision. But you never know. Your volume.
I got Charlo knocking him out.
8th round, that's crazy. But he almost got him out in the first fight.
Stopping him.
In the last round.
I got Charlo.
We're gonna see.
I know. That's why I'm picking Mel to get him out of here.
Interesting. Well, okay. Let me ask you a question. What do you think about Errol Spence? And
Errol Spence is what I know. I'm not gonna tell you what I think. I'm gonna tell you what I know. Okay, what I know is that Errol Spence will be present for the Deontay Wilder Ortiz fight. That's what I know. And he's getting ready to supposedly, I think, fight in March. What I'm hearing is that supposed to be his comeback? Is in March?
That's what's been reported by sources. Don't know how much legitimate, but yeah.
And who you think that opponent is going to be? What, Danny Garcia, or you think it's going to be a lesser opponent?
Lesser. I don't think it's going to be Danny. I don't think he wants to take Danny Garcia yet after everything that's happened. You know what I mean? Because if he does or did miss a couple of teeth, you know, if he catch one of those no-look left hooks from Danny Garcia, those new joints might be missing again. For real. You might miss a few.
To answer your question, Hamid, no. Sources have told me, and sources have even called to inform me that what was being said over the media is not true. It's false, fraudulent information. And basically, you know, what it is, it's just like if you had an alcohol problem, right? You really have an alcohol problem, right? You an athlete, you a top athlete in whatever sport you do. And let's say a tragedy happens, car accident or whatever, and you're so used to being in the limelight, you're so used to this persona that has been portrayed on you that you've bought into, and now you have to, instead of being what you now you have to stand on the green screen and tell people, alcoholic, blah, blah, blah. He has to do all these things do for any person. You know, that's not easy. John Jones couldn't even do it when he had to come back. So, I mean, think about it. Yeah, his teeth is good, bro. But just to be real about the whole situation, you know, it's just like that's a hard thing to deal with when you have to stand in front of this green screen. He can't be seen with Gervonta and Breland, and not saying he can't be seen with them, but he can't be seen with them in the club, partying, making it rain, turning up. He can't be seen in that limelight. If he's
his whole world
if he's seen if he's seen with them in the gym, that's different than being seen with them in the club, partying and all that stuff.
Real talk.
So he has to change his whole image up. He has to change his whole outlook on life and how all that. He has to change everything. And when you're used to, that's like somebody telling Myron, bro, you got to stop all what you're doing. You got to flip it, change it, all that. You can't do this, you can't do that. You got to be a whole new reformed person pretty much overnight. And when you have 20 years of being a consistent way, or 10 years, 5 years of being this type of way, and now you have to do that overnight,
it's hard.
I don't think anybody can do that.
Yeah, it's very hard.
What do you think, Double M? What you think?
Yeah, change don't happen overnight. But when you have as much to lose as he does, it definitely gives a much added motivation to be able to change overnight. He's just going to have to be, and I'm not saying he will be able to change overnight. I think that's impossible. But he has to be wise of how he presents himself in the public eye more so now than anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
That, without a doubt, everybody knows that. And he has to repair this image. And so now he has the opportunity to change how many people are going to perceive him. He's going to be spokesperson. You know what I'm saying? I'm showing a lot of different issues after this. He's going to be, he's now going to be in the children's eyes more. The accident got news everywhere. It made Earl Spence more popular in the face of, you know, something terrible happening, unfortunately.
Right.
And so he definitely going to have to, his image going to change. I don't know if it's going to be squeaky clean, but
me neither.
It's going to, it's definitely going to have to change dramatically, and he's going to have to definitely watch how he move in front of the cameras. Nobody's going to want to see him with a drink in his hand. You're 100% right. Yeah.
Nobody's going to want to see that. That's just going to make it look worse. And matter of fact, the cold part about it, what makes it worse is that the accusations that he's going to be under. You know, we heard that it was the cocaine system. You know, we was rumors, and it's like there was no proof there was any cocaine in his system. There was no factual proof. But there are so many YouTubers that have been putting videos out there saying that it was cocaine in the system, and he was on dope, and he was doing more than just drinking and all that. And it's like, bro, it's just crazy. And then he also has to deal with, you know, every time he has a cup in his hand, not just alcohol. We ain't gonna just talk about alcohol.
It could be a plastic cup of anything with some prune juice in the joint, and they're gonna be like, okay, let me smell it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so he's always gonna be, and you got to think about that too. Like when you're under that duress, like everything you do is finna be that much more scrutinized. Oh, he got a cup in his hand. Is it alcohol in it? You know what I mean? Is he drinking? We see Spence with a cup. Oh, he's at the bar table. He could be at the bar. Like let's say I'm under the same situation and you at the bar having a drink, and I'm just coming up there to sit with you to have pleasantries and conversation, and then media takes a picture and they put it on their page, and now they making headlines saying, "Oh, is Earl Spence drinking?" Exactly. And I just went up there to have a conversation with you. I just went up there to have a pleasure with you. I didn't go up there to have a drink, nothing.
A glass of water now may be a glass of vodka, or a glass of gin. You know what I'm saying? So he has to be very, very, very wise of how he moves in every sense of the matter. And I'm 100% sure that his promotional team and everything is going to be people who definitely watch and weary of any cameras around. Wherever he goes.
Right.
Like, are you recording? You do not have permission to record my likeness or whatever, even though you can't do that only to a certain extent because he's a public figure.
He's a public figure.
They're going to heavily be protecting his image at all costs.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. It's nothing that he could do, man. It's like now you're in a place where every little thing you do is going to be scrutinized. Like you can't even be seen dropping somebody off at the club. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even drop you off at the club no more, bro. I can't pick you up from the bar. I can't even be your designated driver no more. I can't be really associated with anyone or anything that has to do with alcoholism or drinking or anything of that sort, because the moment that happens, now my reputation is in jeopardy.
Absolutely. How long you think it would take for all this to go away, to be forgotten?
Honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth. What I really think, Errol Spence winning a big fight. Errol Spence wins a big fight. All the talk and alcoholism, all the nonsense that's going on that they're saying about him, I think it'll just go away. I think it'll just disappear. You know what I mean? The boogeyman stuff will come right back, win, lose, or draw, no matter how he wins, even if he goes 12 rounds, stops the guy, whatever. But he has to win a fight and win it good. And it has to be against a decent opponent. It don't got to be against like a Sean Porter type dude. He just got to win a fight and win it in convincing fashion. And I think that's what's going to make people kind of back off. If he fights anybody, it don't matter who it is. If he fights anybody, his first fight back, and he looks suspect in any way, they're going to revert back to the accident. They're going to revert back to that. They're going to revert back to, oh, it's the accident. He hasn't recovered, blah, 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 da, da, da. And nobody is feeling what Errol Spence is feeling. Nobody is inside that man's body to tell you what he feels, because no one really knows what he feels but Errol Spence. Not me, not you, not nobody.
Right.
Only one that knows what Errol feels is Errol. So the fact that Errol is going to take, depending on the fight that he takes, it depends on how Errol feels. So if Errol feels probably good, he's going to take a hard opponent. If Errol feels like he's not sure, he needs some time, because Errol is not don't got no ring rust. Errol ain't inactive.
No.
So, just saying. I'm just saying.
That's 100% true, and that's an excellent point too. I think I actually, with your answer to that is going to be pretty good. If the next fight he wins, and if he wins it big, or not even be fighting a lesser opponent, it might linger. But once he gets back around to maybe fighting Danny Garcia, Mr. Two Hands Up, what's up?
What's good?
Back to
Peace,
Danny
brother.
Garcia.
Peace.
And if he beats Danny Garcia, then I agree with you 100% that it's going to everything about the accident and everything's going to be in the back of people's minds and gone. Absolutely.
What do you think, Two Hands?
About what?
About
What
Errol
you talking about?
and his supposed comeback.
Errol Spence.
I mean, if he all right, it's not stopping him from doing anything that he's already currently been doing. So he should be still on the same trajectory that he was on before the accident. So I'm assuming the game plan shouldn't differentiate too much. I'm still thinking Danny Garcia. Nothing really exciting there. But
You don't think the Danny Garcia Spence fight is going to be exciting?
no, I mean, it's an exciting prospect, but considering, you know, what we want, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Just speaking of that aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, it's an exciting fight. I think that Danny and people are possibly thinking, or his handlers are possibly thinking, but
You think he's going to fight that fight after this? Danny Garcia going to be next after this accident? You think he's going to take a lesser opponent?
I think the way Spence looks at Danny Garcia, I think he views him as a lesser opponent already.
Wow. Okay. Damn. Mr. Two Hands Up coming dropping bombs. For real.
Yeah, it's just like, but y'all boys know how his attitude is, though. Y'all know how the way he was talking about Keith Thurman and Sean Porter being the easy touch and Danny Garcia, you know what I'm saying? You see how he acted when he got in the ring. He said, oh, now, you know what I mean? Basically, what did he say? I forgot what he said to him, but basically was saying like how everybody want to come out the woodworks after the Sean Porter fight. How he was acting like he ain't want smoke up until then, but don't really matter.
Do you think it came out of the woodworks because he didn't look as good as many people thought he was versus Porter?
100%. I think Danny Garcia and Pops was sitting there like him and his Pops, you know what I mean, was like, yeah, I think this is a very winnable match. I think Pops was like, we need to go ahead and just jump on this right now. Strike while the iron is hot. I think we got
this one in the bag, Danny. Yeah.
Yeah, like trying to catch Aaron in his infancy of his era.
Kokimo Boxing Flow.
What it do, King?
Boxing.
You breaking up?
My rappy's a little on the slow side, so you gotta forgive me.
It's good.
It's all good.
My rappy's a little slow.
So, but what's going on with Earl? Like he ain't even making no news, really.
They said that he's it's been reported that he's going to be at the Wilder fight, and he's still going to be scheduled to fight March. They still looking to fight in March, but his first appearance since all of this stuff happened is going to be at the Wilder fight. So we're thinking that he's going to be under much scrutiny. Cameras going to be in his face everywhere because it'll be his first appearance. He ain't really said nothing. We don't know what's going on.
That's why
DT3 know all the ends on that though. So
I honestly think he should just go ahead and jump out of there and get ahead of it right now, so it don't create such a calamity when he go to the Wilder fight.
Yeah, I think he should get it out the way. I don't think he should, because when he go to the Wilder fight, because you got to think, I'm also hearing, and it's not a diss to Wilder, man. It's just facts, man. I don't hear any celebrities.
DT3 had to put the disclosure out there before
I have to put the disclosure out there because y'all be mad when I tell the truth. But there are no Matthew McConaughey's or Tom Cruise's. You know, there are no Jada Pickett's or Will Smiths out there that's going to this wild. I'm just saying.
Show up.
You feel me? No George Lopez's, none of that shit. Ain't no celebrities. I'm just saying. You
guys,
the
man,
only celebrity that's supposed to be there is Errol Spence. When Errol Spence is your top celebrity at a fight, that tell you something.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, it says a lot. You
gotta take it easy on Wilder. Damn.
But
speaking of Wilder, you gotta take it easy on Wilder. Damn.
He got a big fight coming up next week, man. Gotta go easy on him, man.
I'm just saying.
Huge fight, man. You know what I mean?
Man.
Damn, Ortiz gonna be coming down to the damn ring with an IV hooked up to his arm and shit.
Oh man. All right, we got one more person that we're gonna have on the string. We maxed out at full.
And you need to set some
we got
real
my boy D Jefferson
hard standards for
the
yourself,
slowness of my labby.
so that other people will treat you the way.
What up, fellas? What up, everybody? I'm going on mute right quick.
All right.
Yeah, man. Your boy Ortiz gonna be coming down there, hooked up the IVs, B.
Well,
you gotta hold all that water till you get to the ring.
Right. But with that being said about Wilder, okay, let's go in on this Mark Breland TVV interview that I just recently saw yesterday, man. Which
fire
take on it, man? What's your take on it, WM?
Y'all gotta let me know what's going on,
bro.
I am.
Mark Breland has some fascinating things to say in this interview.
Is that
by far? He has some very, very, very interesting things to say, far as he think Ruiz will win the fight. But Ruiz got to knock him out to win because the fix is in. He said,
what was that? What was that? What was that?
I ain't saying it louder than that. But
oh my God, man. That shit already done made my blood pressure shift.
And then he also had TBV asked him about his relationship. Like, basically he said, do Wilder listen to you? Mark Breland said, sometimes. He said Wilder has the best jab in boxing, but he don't use it as much as he used to. TBV, he says corruption in boxing, always been corruption in boxing. He went in, bro. He went in. DT3, go ahead, take it over so I can just get my shit together.
My bad, fellas. I was talking to my daughter and shit.
You fine, D.
He was comparing. Okay, just to keep you up, D. We talking about the Mark Breland TBV interview that Mark Breland did with Nesto, and I saw it for the first time this morning. I watched it twice just to make sure I heard everything correct. I just wanted to make sure I heard him right. But I think TBV gonna end up taking that down. But
I don't know.
Mark Breland was basically. He might, you never know. But Mark Breland was Mark Breland was basically saying like the fix was in, man. He was basically saying like, you know, like they want AJ to win, man. They on the under. They not gonna go out and blankly say they want AJ to win, but on the under, Wilder want AJ to win because if AJ win, that bring that $120 million back.
Right. Great. But I mean, to be realistic about it though, there's no country that you're gonna go into that they're, you know what I mean, that their home-based boxer, the fix isn't gonna be in if he's off the L and he's coming back. You know what I mean? Because I mean, technically, there's always favoritism no matter whose soil you're on. They're gonna have favoritism for their fighters. So
well, the rematch is in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh.
Yeah. So neutral ground supposedly.
Hey, let me say something about that, man, if y'all don't mind.
Go ahead.
This whole fix shit, and boom, you know how I am. I ain't even going with that bullshit. And I haven't even seen the video yet, but look, man, I call it all around the board. I call it how I see it, right? I ain't really going with the fix shit because I sat there and I screamed at high heaven, and I still do now. When, you know, the guys that are against what the PBC does and everything, and then you got the guys that are for the PBC and everything, they hollered this fix shit with the Canelo Kovalev fight. And I don't believe the fix was in there either.
But you understand? They hollering about the fixes in and all of that, but wasn't the fix in on Luis Ortiz and Wilder first fight? When Ortiz got knocked down, twice before Wilder got caught with that shot, and they let that man go out for coffee?
Everything that led up to that fight was BS, man. If you look at
they checked on Wilder, but didn't check on the man knocked down.
That was a bunch of BS.
Well,
the Hearn fight was, I ain't gonna lie, that was some BS. When I did my research on that, Hearn had ample time to prepare for Wilder and train for Wilder. He already had fought Wilder, so he knew what he was up against. So he didn't even prepare for Wilder. He didn't even prepare to fight Wilder. He was just in there for a check. And Don King was the one that made him take step-aside money. And Hearn had to actually go get some people to manage his career because Don King was doing business behind his back.
Right. Let me answer two-hand questions. Let me answer two-hand question he shot at me.
Okay.
No, I don't think the fix was in on that. And I understand what you're saying, brother, but hear me out on this. We just seen this year, right? We just watched this year. Hugo Stantolin, Maxim Dadashev, and Patrick Day die in that ring. So what I'm not going to do is challenge the integrity of these physicians. What was amazing is that Wilder withstood that much punishment from a guy that hits that fucking hard and stayed on his feet. So they should have checked him out. And we have to accept that. You know what I mean? They should have checked him out because what happens if they don't check him out, and then Deontay Wilder dies. It's those amount of shots when that brain's getting rattled around up there. That's what fucking kills you, bro. He put Ortiz down, but did he put him down with all of those kind of shots like that? Hell no. Wilder withstood a lot of shots. He proved his chin. He proved a lot to us when he did that. He proved his chin. He proved his grit. But still, that's the danger of combat sports, bro.
But
And I can't challenge the integrity of those physicians, bro.
I mean, I can respect the whole integrity thing, but when you speaking on Maxim Dadashev and the other individuals that passed, you know what I mean, God bless the dead and all of that, but that situation was way before those events took place. But my whole thing is this: if the fighter gets knocked down, look, there wasn't no standing 8 counts that night, man. You either getting waved off or you going to the canvas for that count. So all I'm saying is, if Luis Ortiz was in trouble first, if you're not gonna give him that benefit, you can't give Wilder that type of benefit. It looked like they just try to save the fighter because Ortiz was in real trouble. Like Wilder just as soon as he got wobbly legs, they went to go save him. Like, and really, when I speak on the neurological aspects of boxing, though, to me, that really comes more from sparring wars because it's not just a one shot that's gonna really create trauma. It's several shots, but it doesn't necessarily mean it came from that night. It could have came from several. I'm not a doctor, but that's just particularly my take on it. I'm just speaking on just keeping the scales balanced in that situation. And I just don't think that the scales is really balanced at all.
Well, I agree with that the scales won't balance, but let me ask you this, bro. Did you see the fight between Andre Berto and Victor Ortiz?
I didn't watch that fight.
Okay, well, I implore you to go check that fight out, but I'm explaining you. Both of these cats knocked the other cat down multiple times in that fight. It was fucking a hell of a fight, too. You might find it to be one of the most exciting fights you ever seen. But they both knocked each other down multiple times. But here's the thing. Doctors didn't check on neither of those guys. They let them get back up and scrap, and they were still catching each other with hard shots. We can't really determine, like I said, you have seen guys stand up and take a lot of punishment. A lot of people believe that Keith Thurman and the Josecito Lopez fight, that might have been a standing 8 counter that should have been waved off. So you're going to see these things sometimes, but that don't necessarily mean fix. You understand what I mean? It don't mean fix. It might seem unfair, but it don't mean fix.
I don't want to get my my statements misconstrued with just, you know what I'm saying it's a fixed conversation. That's not what I'm saying at all. If we're just speaking in general terms of just the science alone, my whole thing is this: when you boxing and you sign up for professional sports, you already know what you signed up for. Anytime you jump in between those ropes, you know you could potentially lose your life. But I'm just saying, like, and when you in a combat sport, we're not, the standing 8 count thing, we don't really do that. But I'm just saying, we're not going to stop one fighter or another fighter because they're on a run and they get an upper hand in the fight just because they doing damage. It's either a fact they either getting waved off or they getting counted out. That should be that. I think that because you taking away from what the other fighter's productivity, in my opinion.
Okay.
But
all right. Hey, great point. Back to the interview on that. And one of the things that Mark Breland mentioned is that Wilder listened to him sometime. So the question to ask to you, DT3, and y'all guys go ahead and follow after him. Do you think Wilder is very coachable?
No, I don't think Wilder is the coachable fighter.
Thank you.
I don't think that at all. I don't think he's a coachable fighter. I think Wilder needs, because if Wilder was coachable, I think skill wise he'd be a lot better. And I've said this on many videos, man, and you guys can attest to it. I said if Wilder was to get his skill set up, if he was to mix up his jab where he throw it, jabbing to the body, throwing his straight right to the body, being more accurate, more precise with his punches, I always said that he'd be a lot better of a fighter than he is. Like, imagine if he's doing what he's doing and he's a shitty style fighter. Imagine what he would do if put some real skill behind what he does. And if he did, he'd be that much more dangerous, in my opinion. A lot of people feel like he don't need to change nothing. He don't need to do anything to get better and all that. But it's like, that's the whole purpose of doing anything in life, is to get better at it. We're never a master of anything. Once you say you're a master of something, that means you are no longer learning from it. With that being said, I feel like he thinks he's a master in boxing because all he needs is that right hand to knock you out, and that's it. And basically, at this point, no one has proven that has been in the ring with Wilder that they can necessarily stop it. Even Tyson Fury couldn't stop it because he got put down as well. So I think because of that, he's basically feeling like, since I can do that to people, I don't need nothing else. I don't need nothing extra. I don't need nobody to tell me anything to up my skill set, because my skill set, what I've already got given, is enough.
Well, can I respond to that, or two hands? You want to go first?
You go D, and then 2 hands up, then I finish.
All right. I actually agree with a lot of what Boone just said there. I do have a different perspective on it, right? And I'll share that. So you look at athletes in all sports, right? And most athletes that stick to their sport, they have what we call amateur pedigree, regardless of what sport it is. Right. So they're trained. Right. There you go. You can see where I'm going with this. So they're trained year after year after year in a certain mode. One thing we know about Wilder is he doesn't have amateur pedigree. So I'm not going to lean on the fact that he's not uncoachable, but he lacks discipline. He's been coached with a lot of these things, but because he doesn't have that amateur pedigree and he has not come up in this sport traditionally like most fighters, like the Lomos or the Tanks or the Devin, they have this amateur pedigree. He lacks discipline. So when he gets excited, he loses focus and he resorts to what he knows. Wilder has said himself, I ain't no boxer. I'm a knockout artist. So when he gets excited and see that man hurt, every fucking thing they practice in the gym, everything they told him in that corner goes right out the goddamn window. And this is where you see that windmill and this, that, and the third. And then it would appear that he's uncoachable. No, he lacks discipline. So I don't really disagree with a lot of the things that Boone said. I actually agree with a lot of the things he said. I just have a different perspective on that. So.
Right, like, for me, when it comes to just Wilder's just mind state in general, I just think it all boils down to, if you just listen to the things he says, like he always speaks on how everybody says that he doesn't have any technique whatsoever. But the truth be told, and that bothers him because, the truth hurts certain individuals. That's one thing that always sticks out and resonates with him in every conversation. So my whole thing is, knowing that he doesn't have technique and he wants people to view it as technique and saying they don't see the special intangibles that he already has, the tools that he already has in the shed. Really, that just already lets you know that Wilder feels as though he has everything that he needs to have to make it through whatever fights he's going to take now and whatever fights he's going to make in the future. He doesn't really listen to anybody else. He's going to depend on that equalizer regardless of anything. And that's ultimately going to be his downfall, because a wise man once told me a genius always asks questions. So if you feel like you're above approach and you can't take in any, any game from anyone else, the ability to learn has already been stumped. You're not going to go far. So, Wilder is only going to be as good as whatever opponent, in my opinion, that he goes up against. Because, he's not ever going to be technically sound. And, there are little simple things that I feel as though Wilder can do to adjust his game, and they're very basic, like just throw some more body shots. Shoot that jab out there 15 more times around. And that would make him look a lot better. And it would probably make him look better setting up his right hand. But these are things that Wilder's not going to do. So I'm kind of hopeless for the guy. Where I'm at with him is kind of like show and prove, but that's just where I'm at.
Okay. Now.
Well, answer this question real quick before you.
Let me finish. Let me get my point. Real quick, because I don't want to on this topic. I think personally, Wilder is very, very sensitive to constructive criticism.
Correct.
And I believe Jay Diaz, one of the roles he played in that whole thing, is like a dampener. Because every time I see Jay Diaz around Wilder, it seems like he panders to Wilder, you know, to his emotions, his feelings, or whatever. But it comes off to me that Mark Breland is more of the guy that it's kind of, he ain't going to talk down to you, but he won't kiss up to you. And he also is probably more direct. He's more direct to Wilder. And Wilder, and maybe some of the things he say, Wilder don't take it too well. I think he could do it. I think he's also a bit arrogant as far as all of the hype machine around him and what they try to push him has got to his head a little bit. So he may not think he needs to shoot his jab more. He may not think he needs to listen to Breland as much as he listened to Diaz. And I think Diaz is a dampener for that. And I think so it also revealed to me that this is not the first time Mark Breland has mentioned or said something, or there's been issues between him and Wilder. So do I think he's uncoachable? I think I'm somewhere in the middle on it. I think he does have a little bit issues on being coached, because this is not his my perspective is I don't think Wilder is tremendously, he's been called athletic and all this a whole bunch of times, but I don't really think Wilder is that athletic.
Hey, Marvin, let me add to what you're saying real quick.
His coordination, it's not, I mean, where you are like a person who came up in boxing, you know what I mean, his coordination wasn't that great in basketball. He would have did much more in that. So people saying he's great athletic, he can get past that, it's got to his head. And I think it's made him a bit uncoachable. You know what I'm saying? And he's a little bit too sensitive to constructive criticism. And Mark Breland ain't kissing his butt and telling you need to do this and do that. And he probably he getting his feelings. And then Jay Diaz, I'm finishing up, then Jay Diaz got to come in like, got to pander him. You know what I mean? Got to baby him. Just like Finkel's probably doing, pandering him and babying him. So somewhere
did Mark Breland walk out his corner? During the Fury fight?
That was reported. That was said. Yep. So
I think
the man.
To add to what you're saying, Mom.
Go ahead.
I think what it is he's had so many people around him putting so many different batteries in his back. His head has gotten so big to where he really feel like he that boy, like he above everything else. But that's all I wanted to say.
Absolutely.
Hey, fellas, you know how, and not even just in boxing, in life with a lot of people, man, you know how you learn something, whether it be through business, sports, or whatever, right? And you learn these techniques, you learn this business or whatever, and you are accustomed to succeeding in another way, right? And then when the chips get down, when times get tough, you throw that shit out the window and you go back to what you know.
Yeah.
That's where I'm putting it with Wilder. Because again, what he knows he can do is knock your ass out if he gets that right hand in there. So when he gets into trouble, when he gets hurt, I'm just not putting it on him being uncoachable. It's like, fuck this. I know how to get this.
He will fling that.
You know what I mean? On two hands, that's what happened.
Did that comes to the part where he don't spend enough time in the gym to build the muscle memory and reflexes, where that becomes a part of his foundation and game, second nature?
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, the lack of discipline. You know, I don't want to confuse like being uncoachable to lack of discipline. You know what I mean? Especially when you don't have that amateur pedigree. Because see, this is what's so important about the amateurs, and why people say, well, the amateur and the pros are not the same. No, they're not. But the amateurs give you the fundamentally sound skills, not only to perform in the ring, but also how you taking in this information, because they're used to doing that.
Quick question, D. Do lack of discipline make you uncoachable then?
No, it can to a certain extent, but when the chips get down, it's like I'm saying, when the chips get down and you get in trouble, you know, like these great fighters that come up through the ranks and the amateurs, right? When the chips get down, what do? They adjust. They change in the ring, but he doesn't have the ability to do that because he doesn't have that amateur pedigree. So once it gets to that point, that's why Breland might have walked away like, fuck it. He's there now. Ain't shit I can do anymore. You know what I mean?
Theory, and it might sound crazy as fuck though. What if Wilder already feels as though he already special? Because he's such a wild card in the sense, like, he's not going to be the type of guy that you can really gauge with any particular type of, you know what I mean, with any type of tape. Like, you can't use no tape on Wilder. He is literally a street fighter that puts on gloves. Like, he goes in the ring and he fights you like a street fighter. I think that type of awkward ability is what kind of makes him that wild card in the heavyweight division, because it's not going to be straight on. It's going to be weird. It's going to be at a wild angle. It's going to come up high from the rafters or down low, and he's just going to wing it at you. Like, that's just him.
One of the things, DT3, what's up?
I'm just listening. I'm just listening. I'm gonna give my take in a minute.
You got
I'm
to.
just
Okay.
listening.
One of the things Breland said though also is that Wilder has a better jab than Fury, everybody, but he don't use it. Do you think Wilder has potentially the best jab of all the heavyweights? Guys,
You asking
Hell
me?
no.
Or you asking the panel? You asking the whole panel?
I will say
Okay,
this.
go ahead, D.
I will say this. Coaches and trainers can see certain things, but I just got to go back to this lack of discipline. Breland may see that, but if the motherfucker is not showing us that, then I'm going to say the answer to that is hell no, because he ain't showing us to have the best jab. I mean, fuck, is his jab better than Kovalev? Is his jab better than Kovalev? Fuck no. So I shout out and much respect to Breland, but I ain't trying to hear that shit. Hell no, you don't got the best jab.
his kids watch. Hey, remember his kids listen to his.
Sorry about that.
That's all great. Go ahead, DT, or whoever.
I'm gonna let Two Hands take. Go ahead, Two Hands. I'm gonna be last, bro.
All right.
Nigga, go ahead. I've been waiting for this.
I don't think Wilder has the best jab in the division, bro, at all. Not at all. I think he has a good jab. I think if he uses it more, yeah, he could have one of the best jabs, but I don't think it's the best jab. I just think, Mark, and the thing is, Mark Breland's supposed to say that. That's your fighter. That's like if D was my fighter. I'm supposed to say that D got the best jab. I'm supposed to say D got the best right hand. I'm supposed to say that. But to be objective and call it down the middle, no, he don't have the best jab. No, he don't. Because if his jab was so great, I think if he knew that, he would use it a lot more, because he don't have no confidence in it. Like D said, when he comes in there and he gets hit and you catch him, everything go out the window. All the jab, the fundamentals, all that stuff is over with. It's over with at that point. You call me with something. Now I'm finna take it back to Alabama. Now I'm finna be the Alabama Slammer. The Bronze Bomber is what you see on. That's what you see on. Alabama Slammer is when he gets hit. And he like, oh shit, now I gotta fuck you up. That's that dude right there. Okay, so Wilder don't have the best jab. I think his jab is decent. He don't set it up properly. I do not think Wilder is coachable. I think if Wilder was coachable, he would use his jab more. He would have better fundamentals. I don't think that he lacks discipline. I think the only reason why I say that is because I've never heard of Wilder having a drinking problem. I mean, I've heard of him getting caught with some weed before, but you don't really hear of Wilder having any substance abuse issues or, anything of that sort. You know what I mean? So I don't think his discipline is bad like that, unless he out here slapping women and stuff like that, and you ain't hearing about it. But I haven't heard nothing like that. So maybe, you never know. But I've never heard that. So I don't think he has discipline issues. I don't think that at all. I think he's really just not a coachable fighter. I really believe that, because if he was coachable, he would be so much more better with the fundamentals, and he wouldn't say stuff like, I'm getting back to the basics, and then when he fight, he don't do it.
Bam.
But see, boom.
Right, and speaking on coaching, that always boils back down to your amateur pedigree too. Whether it's in pigskin, whether it's in baseball, Pop Warner, whatever you're doing. So, like, if you've never had the ability to retain information from anybody that's older than you, and you come into boxing, a grown man, pretty much on the Dominic Brazil program, without the ability to retain information and take in the basics, I don't think it makes any logical sense for Mark Breland to speak on a jab when a jab comes from amateur pedigree and it comes from repetition. I don't think Wilder does anything repetitiously. He even said on that TBV interview that he doesn't jump rope, he didn't do anything basics, because remember, Brazil was all based on him going back to the basics. So that just shows you his inability to want to retain knowledge and understanding the game. I think he's already feel like he's fulfilled everything that he's needed to do, whether it's his obligations to his children, whether it's his obligations to his life's resume. So I think he's pretty much content wherever he's at. That's why that green belt is the only thing that he probably still retains today. So I don't know. I just think that he missed all those lessons in life. He might have just got them in different ways. I don't think sports was ever really his thing. That's why he kind of caught on to it late, or at least that I understand from his backstory.
Okay.
And also, I wanted to say something about the just real quick. I just wanted to speak on that when D was talking about Wilder's amateur pedigree, and I have to disagree with you on that one, D, because I do believe that having a bronze medal in the Olympics do give you some credibility as an amateur, even though I don't never speak on that because I don't equate amateurs with the pro. But to say Wilder doesn't have an amateur pedigree, but he has a bronze medal, and there's a lot of boxers that have never even been Olympians, I can't give you that argument. But at the same time, I understand where you're coming from, because that Olympic trial was the worst Olympic trial in the heavyweight boxing history. So I understand where you're coming from with that too as well. So I kind of get it from both angles. You know what I'm saying? It's not a diss to what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm looking at it from both perspectives, and I can see both sides.
But is everyone kind of in agreement that like Wilder kind of made the Olympics off of just God-given intangibles alone? Because when you're a guy that's like 6'7" and you long and awkward like that, you're gonna create problems for anybody that necessarily has an amateur pedigree at that size, because it's kind of an abnormality to even be at that size at that age and even go through that process. So I think intangibles carried him all the way to the finals with Evangelos Romanov, and he caught that L. So God-given talent gave Wilder everything that he has right now. So
it could get him. It could get him.
We can agree on that.
It could get you to a point, but it can't get you over the hill. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And absolutely.
Like y'all were speaking to Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo earlier, and Tony Harrison, after that first fight, man, skills pays the bills. Like, he just relied on his basics.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like the same thing there. Like, you know, what? I don't know. I really don't know too much about Jermell's amateur pedigree, but I know he likes to load up on a lot of power shots, and he was just getting timed a lot.
Sounds a lot like Wilder. Another thing Mark Breland mentioned is that nobody wants to see Wilder versus Ortiz. So I'm asking this question. I'm asking this question in the sense of what the results may be on December 7th in the rematch between Joshua and Ruiz. So Mark Breland said nobody wants to see Wilder and Ortiz. Everybody still wants to see Joshua and Wilder. What y'all guys think on that?
Oh,
I agree.
Who want to go first?
I'll just go first because mine real short. I agree. I ain't ordering the fight. I'm watching the damn playback. So I agree with that 100%. I don't want to see that. Wilder gonna knock this dude out earlier and easier.
Wilder, no. My bad. Wilder, nobody wants to see Wilder versus Ruiz. They all want to see Wilder versus.
Ortiz. I thought Ruiz. I would like to see that fight. I thought you meant this Ortiz fight. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
He talking out his ass.
You think really? You think which one you? So you think they'll watch more? I mean, you think they want to see? Nobody wants to. Who you think they want to see more? Wilder versus Joshua or Wilder versus Ruiz?
Shit! We're not talking about the two current matches that's taking place like a couple weeks out from one another. Wilder versus one or the other.
No, because Mark Breland said that they're going to make sure. I mean, Joshua must get the belts back because they want to see Joshua versus Wilder. Nobody really wants to see Ruiz versus Wilder. He was speaking on the global sense. So that's what,
honestly, for me being a purist in a sense, like, hell no, don't nobody want to see Wilder versus Ruiz, because if you're a hardcore boxing fan, you're gonna say Wilder laid in the cut and he took their fight as a cherry pick for like an easy route to undisputed, and I don't think he can beat Ruiz. So if that was to take place, that's the way the world would look at it, because I would have to look at it that way. Because if you turn down the 9 figures and then you wait for the backdoor opportunity to go get Ruiz after Joshua loses, even though you don't have any other alternative, I think, that's just what the general consensus of the people is going to be. Like, you try to cherry pick undisputed.
Okay. DT3, what's that doing? D.
Yeah, I would like to see the fight actually, because one thing we haven't seen much of Wilder is him tested to the body. It's just certain things that I think Ruiz will test him with that we have not seen him tested with.
Good point.
And so I would be interested in seeing that fight. I do expect Wilder still to knock Fat Boy out, but I'm just saying I would like to see the adversity. He'll face adversity with Ortiz that he hasn't really faced with Ruiz that he hasn't really faced with a lot of guys. Even
Joshua.
Yeah, well, of course I want to see. I'm not saying I want to see that more than Joshua.
No, I'm saying you think Ruiz will give him certain problems that Joshua can't or will not give him.
Yeah, sure. For one right off the back is hand speed. Joshua ain't nowhere near as fast as Ruiz. You know what I mean? 2 is body punching. Ruiz is a better body puncher, and we have not seen Wilder tested to the body. Yeah. So I think that a lot of these guys that had Wilder in trouble,
I agree.
They could have probably got him out of there had they gone to the body. But we don't see people test that man to the body. Ruiz going to test him to the body. So it's interesting. It's an interesting fight.
I don't really want to see Wilder Ruiz. I don't want to see that fight. That's not a fight. I'm like, ooh, Ruiz finna fight Wilder. Ooh, like I'm not used about that. That don't get my blood going. That don't make me want to, tell my wife our cable bill finna go up an extra woo wop. I'm just not. It's not worth it to me. I'm not hyped up about the Ruiz Joshua fight too much, to tell you the truth. Because I kind of see how that's finna go based on how Ruiz all of a sudden want to act like he want to lose weight because he see Joshua losing weight and now you trying to lose weight. Like, bro, you should have just been the fat dude you been the whole time, because when you was the fat dude, that's the dude that beat him, right? So continue to be the fat dude, eat your Snickers as they let Anthony Joshua train from you. Yep, he worked hard. Yep, give me a Snicker, baby. Yep, good stuff, baby. That's how you play that game. That's how you play that game. So I'm not sleeping on Ruiz. I'll let you go in a minute. I'm not sleeping on Ruiz. I think Ruiz is gonna make a fight of it, but I think that because he let this Anthony Joshua losing weight and all that, and him being a big dude and all that kind of play out in the wrong way, I think he just went with it and took it the wrong way. It kind of showed that Joshua was more in his head than Andy Ruiz is in Joshua's head, in my opinion. When it comes to that. But I want to see Joshua and Wilder fight, even though I highly doubt that fight happened at this point. You know what I'm saying? That's the $100 million fight. I want to see the $100 million fight. I don't want to see a $10 million fight. I don't want to see the $20 million fight. I want to see the $100 million fight. That's what I want to see. Time for this.
I agree with you, bro. I want to see, like I said, I want to see AJ. But I still want to see that Ruiz.
I got a problem with that, though, man.
Go ahead.
What's up?
I got a problem with that $100 million. This is my problem with it, man. Like, okay, so AJ gets past Ruiz. Now we move into 2020. Now we know Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder got their date set. But my whole thing is this: I really don't want the whole dog and pony smoke and mirror window shopping show, man. I don't need it. I really don't need to see a whole bunch of guys pump faking. Man, the fight needs that's what it's going to boil down to. Because if the fight still doesn't come to fruition, and AJ gets the I'm telling you, that's why. That's where it's hard for me because it was so many complicated variables that really were unnecessary roadblocks that didn't have to be there, and it could have so easily got done. And I look at everything that's happened now in boxing, and we've gotten all of our joys from other areas and other weight classes in boxing. You know, the Ruiz thing was unexpected. That was what I'm just saying. I don't need the whole window shopping phony shit, man. Like, let's make the fight happen, man. Or you really gonna mess up the heavyweight division, man. It's too much momentum for it to be roadblocked again.
Troy.
I'm just speaking for the love of boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I believe that fight is the fight that the world wants. Joshua versus Wilder. The implications, everything that plays, potential, the build up for that fight. They want to see the American versus the Brit, also two Goliaths. Also, since Ruiz.
Oh man, the energy around that.
Since Ruiz want to say he's fight for Mexico, he done now like he's not claiming America. He's claiming he's fight for Mexico, which I think was a foolish move on his behalf, for real, because you was born in, well, I think Imperial, California. You should have been smart and played both ways. So he's cutting himself up.
You got it right.
Ruiz also is not the he's still, I don't care what many people say, I still think he's going to be looked at as the chubby kid. So it's going to be hard to promote that fight. And I'm not saying this to be mean or fat shaming. He's not easy on the eyes. You know what I mean? You got Deontay Wilder, no homo, good looking brother in America, tall, 6'7", 6'6", versus Joshua, good looking brother, Britt, 6'5", 6'6", and it's supposed to be the clash of the Titans. Ruiz is not looked upon, and it's hard to depict him as a Titan. So I'm thinking the Wilder-Ruiz fight, the Wilder-Joshua fight, real talk, you talking about 100 million, I think that fight, if the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, they say drew something like $1 billion. Now, I'm not saying these guys hit that level yet, but this fight can generate $250 million easily with how hard they're going to promote and push this fight already from what they did in the back, building it up. You know what I'm saying?
No, dog, I'm with you on that. I think even more, bro. Like, yeah. I'm with you there, bro.
You have both sides of the country world that's going to put in on this fight. So I was giving an under with 250.
Yeah. That's
because of Wilder still. But these two together, yeah, I'm saying 250, $500 million fight for real. The money behind Joshua alone.
I agree with you on that all the way. I mean, this fool get ready to make 75 to fight the little tubby kid.
In a rematch.
Yeah.
He lost. Look, I posted that video. Remember, I did a video saying, "Wow," and people look at me like, "Where you get this from?" And I heard it from Kokimo Boxing Flow first on his video, and I was like, "What?" I posted it, and everybody's like, "What you talking about?" I'm like, "Yo, this Bama gonna make 77 million in a rematch."
Right.
Let's get Troy up in here because Troy been waiting to get up in here for me.
Yeah, hey, fellas, thanks for having me on. I just wanted to jump on, show y'all some love. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and back out so you can let him on. Yeah, no, it's all good, bro. It's all good.
All right, man.
Y'all take it easy.
Thanks, bro.
All right.
Thanks, D. What's up, Troy? Are you in the bathroom or something? Let us see.
Trying to get him on. There you go.
Like, I heard something flushing in there. There's the man, Troy Graham. What's up, champ?
What's up, Troy?
Yes, I can hear you. It's always a pleasure to see you too.
What's good?
But yeah, you know my thoughts. I've always believed this about Wilder, right? He could be a whole lot further along, but no one's ever really had all that faith in him. And then when you say these things, people want to say that you're a hater. So the first thing they'll say, well, you know, Joshua, he has the opportunity, right? No, because you know, Wilder started 5 years ahead of Joshua, correct? Started 5 years ahead of him. He could have, but Finkel was like, nah, he's not ready. How are you not ready when you're 30 fights deep already and you're champion?
You're right about that.
And he was the younger man, right?
You're
and
right.
then there was the whole fight was the whole issue with Martin. They said Eddie Hearn came in and offered $5 million. So how come you people then counter that offer and make a higher offer? Understand me?
Excellent point. You never hear Wilder making offers or their team making offers to AJ or anybody.
You always hear the stupid response about slave wages. And he says he knows history. Find me one slave that got paid. Right? So, to me, I don't know if you can still hear me because my signal keeps going in and out, right?
All right, just find the best spot, though. Keep on.
Right. I always felt like this. I seen him use his jab in the Stavern fight, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the last time he utilized the jab. He has a jab, and it's a good jab too. But he fell in love with his power. He fell in love with his news clipping, and now he's just this one-handed monster. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna come a time where you can't put everybody out. Okay, you can't put everybody out, and then you're gonna have to ask questions because people always say, "Well, sorry." Wilder's diehards always say, "Well, you know, the ref gave Tyson X amount of time." I tell you what, they leave out. Fury, Wilder had 2 whole minutes to finish Fury. How come he couldn't finish him?
Wow.
So it isn't that he doesn't. He has skills, but he's never going to reach his full potential because I don't know who said it, but he lacks discipline. He just lacks discipline, brother. And I don't even think he's that guy. I've said on this show and I've said on other shows, he has everything he needs to be a superstar. He's a charming asshole. He is.
Yeah, man. He got the look. He got the looks. He got style. Yeah.
So Troy, who do you think?
He ain't afraid to talk.
Which fight you would prefer to see more? Joshua versus Wilder or Wilder versus Ruiz?
I would prefer to see Joshua against Wilder, but Joshua has to get past Ruiz first. I keep telling people that Joshua, you know, is Joe Louis of this era. Because here's the thing people don't realize about Joe Louis.
That's dope. Elaborate, please.
Louis was he was probably the best heavyweight ever because you never seen him off balance. And he had a 6-inch left hook, right? He had a 6-inch left hook, and he could take you out at any time. But he was vulnerable. And he was slow of foot. But his hands were fast. His hands were very quick. But you know what really made him great? The fact that he was able to come back from adversity and triumph. Because in the first fight against, Smelling, right?
Max Smelling.
Yes.
Yeah, Max Smelling.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the first time I listened to Chappie, who was his coach. He was out partying with Sugar Ray Robinson. This is a true story because I read his auto. They used to go to black hotels. True story. They used to rent like floors, just whole floors, and in each room there was a woman. Boom, boom, boom. They would just run through them women, knock them out. And, you know, he would tell his wife he was going out to buy bread on Monday, then he would come home like 30 days later.
Wow.
Probably with the Rolling Stones.
And on top of that, you know, he had an affair with 2 big stars during that time. Lena Horne and
Yep.
Lena Horne and, you know, Betty Boop, who was black. Betty Boop.
Yeah, Betty Boop was black. Even though they make her white, Betty Boop was black as hell.
Yes, indeed. He had an affair with them, and that took his legs and everything else. Even still, he lasted till the 11th round, right? In the second fight, Chappie didn't have to tell him nothing. Everything, Chappie's his coach. Everything his coach told him to do, he followed. And his coach.
Can I interject with something real quick? Jack Johnson paid a visit. Jack Johnson paid a visit to Joe Louis's camp in preparation for the first fight against Max Schmeling. And he was telling him, dude, you're gonna lose this fight to Max Schmeling. You got plenty of holes. And they were trying to give Jack Johnson, the great Jack Johnson, was trying to give Joe Louis and his camp advice. They're like, yo, he ain't doing this, he ain't doing that, he's open here, he's gonna go over there and get punished. And that's what happened. Then all of a sudden, they corrected all those things and took the advice of what Jack Johnson said, things he pointed out that was wrong, and he went over there and punished him in the second fight. But that's all I wanted to say. Because Jack Johnson had a serious play in that.
Exactly, and now to bring it back to Joshua, right, the present day.
Go ahead.
People don't realize it, but that date in April that he was supposed to fight, that was first step for Wilder. Wilder turned down $100 million. Then he started training for Big Belly, right? And then Big Belly was found guilty of taking every drug known to man, right? Then at that point, you frustrated and you're tired. And finally, somebody. Here's the thing. Ruiz was fresh. He had just fought Parker. So he was fresh and he was active. Anthony Joshua was not fresh and active. He was sparring and training for two different people.
He just fought Derevyanchenko. He just fought a Derevyanchenko guy.
And Derevyanchenko's body type mirrors Anthony Joshua in style, hand in hand. So he pretty much had 15 weeks to train for that fight.
Right. So
but the thing, the cold part about that though is everybody kept saying to basically diffuse Andy Ruiz being picked for that fight. Just going back to the Mark Breland interview, when Mark Breland said they picked Andy Ruiz because they thinking that Andy Ruiz was a big fat butterbean guy.
Yes,
and that's why they picked him. When they throw what they throwing over your head is the first person that they initially picked to fight Anthony Joshua was who?
Ortiz.
Ortiz. He was the first choice, and they was willing to give him $7 million for that, and he turned it down, said he wanted 10. So maybe y'all know what Wilder's getting, or maybe y'all don't know. I don't know, but he has to be getting more for this Wilder fight to turn down $7 million in a unification fight with Anthony Joshua, the cash cow, the heavyweight division.
Right. What did Ortiz call it? Chump change or slave wages? He said one of those two words about the $7 million.
Chump change.
Right. And but Troy, let Troy finish up how he comparing Joshua to Joe Louis. This is intriguing.
Right. Joe came back in that first fight because he told Chappie to come up in the ring with him, who's his coach, but Chappie was sick and he said he can't make it up the steps. He said trust me.
Talk louder, Troy. Talk louder.
Huh?
A little louder, Troy. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
That's the thing, man. My signal is bad, man. Can y'all hear me?
It sounded clear, just a little louder.
Yeah,
Keep
now
going.
we hear you now.
Can you hear me now or not?
Yeah, perfect. Keep it going. Keep it going. I want you to make your point.
Right. He told his coach. He begged his coach to come up in the ring with him. And, he even told the doctor this is Joe Louis, that, he's afraid of getting into the ring tonight. He said, why? Because I feel like I can kill this man because I'm in such great shape. And what happened? He almost broke Spilling's back in that fight. Watch the first fight. Watch the fight. There's a point where he hits Smelling, when Smelling turns to the side, right? And you see him scream out in pain. Yeah, because he hits him in the spleen.
Yeah, because I remember seeing a documentary on that, actually.
Right. So,
I remember that.
Anthony Joshua, people take because he's soft-spoken that he's soft. He's not soft. Most soft-spoken people who don't really say too much are mean. Andre Ward is a humble guy, but he's a mean.
Yes.
A mean streak. He got a mean streak in him.
Joshua's the same way. When and if he gets Ruiz hurt, he's going to take out a whole bunch of that frustration on that board. And honestly, if you want to see how to beat Ruiz, watch the second fight with Rahman and Tua. Rahman kept that right hand planted to his side and jabbed the hell out of Tua and dropped the right hand.
Kept up his face all night.
Yes, he did. That's exactly the way you beat Ruiz. Even though he's faster than Tua, he'll punch like Tua. I'm going to take a boy. I just see him coming back, and I see him putting And to all y'all who say, well, I'm just a constructive guy with the criticism. Y'all need to open up your eyes and see the fact.
What's the sound in the?
Faith in him.
Hold
Say,
on,
okay.
I'm gonna go mute. My alarm going off.
Okay.
All right, well, y'all have a good day, brother.
Okay, no, you
All right,
can't,
man.
Troy. Or
Huh?
all right. Okay, you finished what you had to say? You mean Lewis?
Yes,
You
sir.
meant Lewis
Yes, sir.
versus Tua, not Rockman.
I'm suffering from the flu, but I don't have no white rum. I don't know what kind of Jamaican will keep no white rum in his house, but.
All right.
We're
No
gonna
problem.
elaborate on this Ortiz Wilder thing a little bit, then we're gonna move on because we gotta speak up on how we gotta talk about the damage control. We gotta talk about the damage control with Luis Ortiz.
Oh,
When
okay.
at first Luis Ortiz was talking about how Wilder is a dirty fighter and he hits behind the head and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden the very next day, within 24 hours, you got Luis Ortiz talking about, you know, he's the best fighter of
The
this
deck
era, the decade or whatnot. So
loses.
I think,
Yeah.
I mean, do you think damage control double M? I
That's
mean, I
'cause
saw your
Al Heyman
video.
came over the house.
Huh?
Al Heyman came over.
Okay.
He had to deal with Al Heyman in the flesh. That shit was spooky.
Not many people see Al Heyman, but Luis Ortiz did after he made that comment, huh?
Luis Ortiz only speaks English to Al Heyman.
That is hilarious, bro. I'm like, look, man, I made a video about the shit. I'm like, the only way in hell he can just come back and say something out like this, you know what I mean? Right before they fight, is because Wilder was in his feelings like crazy. He's like, what? He was like, I'll have to clear that up. I'll have to clarify exactly what he meant by that. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I don't want to. It's mutual now. But the respect, if he try to tear me down, it's over. I was like, oh Lord, he went through a hissy fit, and he called Shelly Finkel, and I think Finkel called Heyman, and you know how it went.
Oh yeah, like, cause you know, like every time Ortiz and Wilder have to meet, like Ortiz really starts to come off come off with that real rap. He really started to tell the truth, but then he pulled back from it and then praised Wilder like somebody done got at him, like the handlers done put a hand on him or something. Like,
yeah.
Cause it's funny to me that you were talking about all that dirty boxing and that wrist smacking to the back of the head he be doing, and then you came back and backtrack and try to treat that man like he the greatest nigga in the world.
He went from going from criminal. Wilder in Luis Ortiz's world went from going from damn near criminal, he said, to the best heavyweight of the decade. That 100%. Is a drastic shift, dude.
Right, because that makes me want to ask the question of like, all right, because you know, Luis Ortiz turned down an extremely high payday for Anthony Joshua and more belts to jump in the bed with Wilder Paws for less money and one belt. And then when you start speaking the truth, you doubling back, and now you being nice. So that just lets me know right there. You know what I mean? Al Heyman got his foot all up in your ass, like.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of moisture going over there. A lot of moisture going on over there in the PBC. It's a lot of moisture.
It's just it's like the corruption no bounds.
How would you turn down $7 million, your highest payday to date, and a chance to be unified heavyweight champion of the world to fight Wilder for one belt? And all, like, you know, Al Heyman got his hands on that. You know, Al Heyman got his hands on.
Okay, look. Okay, let's be easy on Wilder and the fans. How about two hands? Are you and DT3? Are you guys aware of the very, very, very strong message sent to Eddie Hearn from the Nevada State Athletic Commission over this Julio Cesar Chavez not wanting to take or wanting to give a test sample to VADA, or a voluntary anti-doping agency.
He did
They-
one two, or he didn't one two.
He did not want to. Hold up, let me do this. Let's do this. He didn't want to, right? So, but we're gonna do it like this. I'm gonna read it real.
Oh, he want to come in there like Super Chop.
I'm pretty sharp. I'm gonna read it real fast. Follow with me. Follow with me from Boxing Scene. Boom. Wednesday, November 3rd. Huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Nevada State Athletic Commission Executive Director Bob Bennett has sent a strongly worded letter to Eddie Hearn, Managing Director of Matchroom Sports, objecting to the manner in which Matchroom has handled the refusal of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. to provide a test sample to a voluntary anti-doping agency collection agent on October 24th. In part, Bennett's letter warns grounds exist to bring disciplinary action against Matchroom before the NSAC. If Matchroom does not take the necessary action to come into compliance with Nevada law, our office will consider its option. Listen, this is Nevada State Athletic Commission. Listen, as reported yesterday on Boxing Scene, Chavez was scheduled to fight Danny Jacobs at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas on December 20th. But the NSAC placed Chavez on temporary suspension following his refusal to submit to the drug test. Matchroom then contacted multiple states and found a site for the fight in Phoenix, Arizona. Nevada law prohibits any promoter licensed by the NSAC from having any dealings related to unarmed combat with a person who has been suspended by the NSAC. Nevada law also prohibits a promoter from permitting a person under suspension from participating in any contest or exhibition of unarmed combat during the period of suspension. Any violation of Nevada or federal law by a licensed promoter promotes grounds for disciplinary action. In addition, under the Ali Act, no boxer is permitted to box while under suspension from any boxing commission due to, among other things, failure of a drug test. Under Nevada law, an unarmed combatant that refuses to submit to the collection of a sample or specimen upon the request of the NSAC or its representative, or otherwise evades the collection thereof, if he tries to say avoid getting collected, his specimen, has committed an anti-doping violation and is subject to disciplinary action, just as he or she would be if he or she failed a drug test. So not agreeing to forfeit or give a specimen is the same as failing a drug test according to NSAC law and Nevada law. Let me continue. It's almost over. Based on Matchroom's ongoing dealings with Chavez while he has been on suspension, it is apparent that Matchroom has violated Nevada law, further giving that Chavez's suspension is based on his refusal to submit to a drug test requested by the NSAC, and thus an anti-doping violation. It is apparent that the event scheduled to occur in Arizona on December 20th, 2019 is in violation of the Ali Act. As such, Matchroom is promoting an event that is potentially violates federal law, because the Ali Act is federal law. Okay? Bennett's letter further states, on November 7th, 2019, on November 7th, 2019, I contacted Sean Palmer, Matchroom's head of legal and business affairs, and informed him of the legal issues with Matchroom's dealings with Chavez discussed herein. I further informed him of the potential consequences should Matchroom not take corrective measures to comply with Nevada law. including that a violation of Nevada law will be considered by the NSAC when deciding whether to renew Matchroom's promoter's license. Matchroom Boxing USA announced today that Matchroom Boxing USA announced that tickets for Jacobs and Chavez went on sale this morning. It's likely that Danny Jacobs will fight in Phoenix on December 20th. It's less likely that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. will be his opponent. So they put the clamp down, bro. Federal law.
Oh yeah, I just think it's interesting how heavy that they put the clamp down though. It's like they try to cover, it seems like they try to cover every end on Eddie stepping out and going around because to me, like I'll compare it to the Dylan White situation in a sense. The way that they said that he was a champion in recess or whatever, considering all that was going on with UCAD, but we already know that the WBC's clean boxing by Nevada. So they saying that, oh, he's in recess, but he can go around and fight and do X, Y, and Z, and he can even come in the States and fight, and so on and so forth. But my whole thing is this, though. So Julio Cesar Chavez didn't want to give a sample. Okay, well, we know that Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz, Deontay Wilder still took their fight, knowing what was in Luis Ortiz's body, and we know as well that Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman just had a bout with no VADA testing as well. So it just seems like it was them trying to go after Eddie Hearn and trying to go after what is the machine that is Matchroom and what is the machine becoming the Zone, as they're constantly on the rise.
Great
point. 2019 has been such a very profitable year for them. So for me, I just see that, you know, the resurgence of the UK heavyweight boxing scene and the resurgence of UK boxing control and it going back to where it all started is a problem for America. So they trying to do whatever they can to stop that. And regardless of what people might think of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., his father has a name. So that means he's bringing in that Mexican population, and to do it in Nevada or to do it in Arizona, those are melting pots for the Spanish community. So it just seems like they just trying to take money. They just trying to just stop Matchroom flow. That's what it seems like. And they're just trying to do anything with any technical loophole to try to stick it to them. Because I've done seen so much corrupt shit go on this year with as far as testing and everything else. Why is it that it's so important for Julio Cesar Chavez or to clip him if the organization decide that, hey, okay, we're going to do it without the testing, we still going to go through it to fight. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
That was dope. What you got, D?
That was deep, bro. that was deep right
dope.
there.
I was coming to line, motherfucker, 2 hands up, bang that shit.
Yeah. I say this, man. When you look at WADA and VADA, you know, WADA sets these regulations, but UCAD and USADA, which they're sort of equal. USADA is for US, you know, doping agency, and UCAD is UK agency. They've always had issues. Both of these separate agencies, outside of WADA and VADA, you know, VADA's a private agency, and they have to go basically on the regulations that's set by WADA. But UCAD and USADA have always had issues. I mean, when you look at what happened with John Jones over there in the UFC, the picograms and all of that bullshit, that was USADA. Okay, and this whole Dillian White situation, that's UCAD. You know what I mean? They're their own agencies, and they always have issues. Right. So who knows, man? The politics and all of this bullshit going on. What you just dropped was some dope. Like, that's a dope ass theory right there, bro. I can't even lie.
That's DMV thinking, baby.
You from the DMV, dog?
We both is.
Oh shit, DMV. You know, I'm from Richmond, Virginia. Then I live in Ohio, so I'm from Richmond, bro. That's what's up, dog.
You know we know boxing.
That's why he making sense.
Yes, sir.
City, we know politics of anything. We grew up in the home.
Sweet Pea, baby. Sweet Pea Whitaker. That's why he making sense right now. Okay. Yeah, you got 3 times more respect from me now than you from the DMV.
We both are. You know we know our boxing.
Yeah, well, I already knew you was Myron. I already knew you was. I didn't know 2 hands was though.
Yeah, you got damn right.
Well, Forget about everything I said. We rolling with two hands.
You got any more to say? What else you got to say though?
We don't put the stamp.
I was just saying that UConn and USADA always have their issues. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like what he dropped was dope for real. Like that was like some theories out here. I'm like, yeah, it's just, but that made a lot of sense. But I'm just trying to add the perspective to it.
What you was But to add to what you were saying about USADA, though, Max Kellerman has came on TV on Max on Boxing, and he's made it very clear that if you want to get away with doping in any field in sports, USADA is the way to go.
Yeah,
because it's a known fact that VADA catches guys, and USADA was in it since the beginning of time. So it's like. That's kind of why the UFC moves in that direction. You feel me? Like, so it's no secret, man. They all play dirty. It's just like, you know, you really don't know the depths of the deception, though. It's just kind of like you got to just kind of like be hypothetical about the shit. Like,
and that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Two hands about UConn too. They're like kind of similar when it comes to that silliness because they're separated. You know. UConn is on the level of USADA, but for the UK, so they can kind of bounce around some of these regulations that WADA sets. But VADA, I mean, even though private, they go strictly by the regulations that WADA has established. UConn and USADA are outside of that. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you're going to see this tomfoolery when it comes to those two organizations.
And respect to what you add on to what you're saying, remember. It was on build up on you talking about USADA. It was Floyd Mayweather that requested USADA testing for the fight, the first fight with Pacquiao, and then Pacquiao.
Maypac, right?
Yes, the first before it was, and then Bob Arum came up. Bob Arum said, "I ain't gonna let you pick on my fighter." The next thing you know, Pacquiao went to the Philippines, became a freaking senator and everything. Was gone for a couple of years. But Mayweather requested USADA. He tried to step out of the WADA and VADA connection. Mayweather asked for that, and that's when you see Pacquiao run and all that. That's the add-on what you're saying, how USADA, if I'm not mistaken, USADA is also the ones who test the Olympics.
Correct.
They're bigger.
Errol Spence ain't never rolled with VADA. It's always been USADA or nothing else, eh?
Actually do that.
I mean, I'm an Errol Spence fan, but I want to keep it real. Like, we never heard Errol Spence signing up with no VADA.
Right.
So do you think that's why credited VADA? Is that y'all think that's why Marsilio Suleiman doesn't give VADA his credit? That's because they
Of course not. That's easy to get through the doping agency. Suleiman just as crooked as a question mark. You already know that.
Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I agree with everything Two Hands said. All the way. I think it's the and real talk, I think behind the scenes, you got certain powers in the American the powers that be in the American boxing industry. It's a war going on. It's a serious war going on. Okay. And you got the Brits who see America as weak right now, dealing with the economy, dealing with Mayweather's retirement. When Mayweather retired, pay-per-views went down. That's just facts. So UK, the British powers that be in boxing see the United States is weak, and this is the time to come in and seize territory. You feel me? And there's a tremendous pushback. Let me finish. It's a tremendous pushback from the American powers that be in boxing. This is just adding on to what you're saying, Two Hands. You feel me? I'm just giving it from a different, a talk. So it's everything you're saying is real. It's a war going on in American soil, seriously, about boxing. And that's why you hear Bob Arum say things like, remember he said, Eddie Hearn need to get out of America. Go back to the UK. You think many people probably think that was just some banter. I don't think it was. I think it was damn freaking serious. You say it with a joking nature so it could come off that way. But particular people know exactly like, okay, it's time to go ahead and try to hold down a fort. That means our land and our boxing industry here, and push out anybody who's coming in, bro. You feel me?
Right.
So that is exactly, I'm not saying that's exactly what's playing to play on this particular situation, but that is what's happening right now in boxing. Seriously.
Hey man, why you think
groups has got their positions, boxing communities got their positions to try to prevent the shit they're paid behind or whatever to prevent that joint from happening. You feel me?
Hey,
It's
check
real.
it out, Marvin. Check it out. Why you think that speaking of the UFC, why you think Dana White's first interest in moving over to boxing was where USADA was surely comfortable? That was the PBC. That was his first interest.
Exactly.
I mean,
Because
think
we're
about
weak. Because you added on, we're weak. So when you see they're saying boxing is dead, they're not saying that shit for the UK. They're talking about America.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about America when they're saying this boxing is dead.
Mhm.
And so we're the biggest market at the same time. So they say it's at a down spot. So all the vultures is circling around, bro. You feel me? Looking to go ahead. Okay, now is the time to attack. And that's what's happening.
Boxing used to be up there, the popularity of the sport, back in the day, used to be up there with baseball and shit. Football wasn't, but now look, it's like 14th in this country, bro.
Because we don't have no transcendental. When Mayweather left, Mayweather was the only transcendental star we had to push at the moment. Him and Pacquiao, who fought here all the time. Pacquiao came back, brought us some back. So when Mayweather left, they needed somebody to fill the spot. That's where Canelo came in there, and where they're pushing him as the face to carry the mantle. But it hasn't panned out. He went to the UK and signed with Matchroom. So damn, now they lost him really. You feel me?
Let's get to these comments, man. Mala2243 says it's so true. The establishment don't want UK running US boxing. What you think about that? Two hands. Let's get two hands, man. Two hands been a little silent. What you think, two hands? Where you at, two hands?
Two hands.
I think you're a little busy.
Well, I let me jump in on that.
Please do.
No, they don't want UK running the boxing, but I will say this.
Yeah, let D go.
I don't care who runs boxing, as long as it's beginning to be run right. And one thing about the UK, why the hell shouldn't they run boxing? Boxing started there. Everybody want to be all on this, American pride and all of this. Why the fuck? I mean, let them have it. America ain't running it right, and it started there anyway. I mean, come on with all of that, man. Like, something got to change.
Oh my God!
If we continue, listen, the whole American freaking economy is corrupt. It ain't just boxing. Everything in this damn country is corrupt. So take the corruption out. Might end up taking it out of America.
That goes in UK too. That goes for UK too.
I mean, that's true, but
we're brother and sister. We are brother and sister.
Yeah. But if one brother messes up, then let the other brother try. You know what I mean? If the brother messes up, let the sister try. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Because it ain't going down. Like, something got to change, bro. And if it's going to change, then send it to where it started from, bro. I mean, let it shift back over there. I wouldn't mind it.
All I want to see is the best fights possible.
Exactly. Look at the UK. We could say that the corruption's here, the corruption's there, right? But look at the culture of the UK in boxing. They put their young lions in the ring. How many of us want to see Ryan versus Teofimo, Devin Haney versus Tank, and all of this? We want to see that, right? They're doing that in the UK. So let them go over there then. Let them run it. Because if they run it, maybe we'll start getting it. We ain't getting it now. We got Bob Arum, the longest reigning snake in the game. And then we got Al Heyman, and we know what the PBC is doing to boxing.
Don't forget Oscar De La Hoya.
Well, Oscar, the cokehead cross-dressing
woman beater.
Cokehead cross-dressing woman beater. You know what I mean?
Cocaine cross.
Yeah.
Control.
But I'm just saying, bro, it ain't going down here. So let them try it there, bro, because they're clearly putting on better fights than we are. As a boxing fan, I'm all for it. Like, let them control it. I'm all for it, bro.
All right, I want to get Intangible in here, get his take on it. So we're gonna have to get one of you guys off the panel.
No, I'll back out, bro. I'll always volunteer, bro. Let that man.
All right,
jump
bro. I'm trying to get Intangible in
No,
here.
but
And get
hey,
his take on
D,
it.
it's better when you're here oftentimes, man.
But it's all good, bro. I just want everybody to, you know what I mean?
I'm not saying Dolly, two hands, but we got. Hey, first of all, can I say one thing? We got two dope ass commentators here with us today.
I appreciate it, bro.
Really, peace out to two hands up.
Oh, Tangible just left. He just left the backstage.
Oh, okay. All right.
He going to hear it when he watches.
And let me tell you something about Intangible. That's my man. He on my live, right?
Today, bro.
But I wanted to speak on that, though.
Oh, go ahead. Do your thing. Do your thing, bro.
I wanted to speak on the topic we was on.
You're
this is
breaking
my
up.
whole take on the whole situation.
Go ahead. Fix your audio. You good.
I said, this is my whole take on the whole situation. I've always felt as though it's like this. It doesn't matter which side of the pond got the cloud. It's all about boxing, basically. So the whole thing is this. If you look at UK, Eddie Hearn, you look at Frank Warren, you look at how these guys are moving, they aren't moving in on U.S. territory with disrespect. I mean, boxing was left with a huge gap in it from like 2008 to basically AJ, outside of Canelo and Manny Pacquiao, you know, for retirement. Boxing was just left wide open for anybody to take it. It just so happened that the special specimen that had the look, that had the gift of gab that everybody took to, happened to be Anthony Joshua. So I'm just saying, as long as, like D is saying, like everybody is saying, as long as we get the type of fights that we need to get, as long as, you know, business negotiations can get done, I don't see the problem with it. I honestly and truly see, like, there's corruption on both sides, but America is so blatant with it because they feel like it's like when Snoop Dogg went over to New York and started crushing the buildings. That's how they looking at Eddie Hearn. Now, I mean, you can't get mad on somebody capitalizing on success, man. I mean, honestly, if Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn can have such a generational gap and they can play ball together and they can come together and co-promote 6 events that turned out to be amazing boxing matches, why can't we just have amazing boxing matches all across the board? We got to, man, egos got to be set to the side, because if people just start coming together, it's more money. It's enough money for everybody to get it.
Let me jump in. Keep in mind, Eddie Hearn has probably known Bob Arum his entire life, or since he was a child, because Barry Hearn and Bob Arum been doing business for decades.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind too. So,
very much so.
Man.
But if you look at Eddie Hearn and you look at Barry Hearn, it's like Eddie Hearn has completely taken everything Barry Hearn has taught him, pretty much duplicated that, and then he's become like Barry Hearn 2.0, the hybrid version.
Better for this generation to carry it forward.
It's like Barry Hearn is like a Chevelle SS, and like you know what I'm saying. Then you look at Eddie Hearn, he like a Tesla right now.
What a great analogy.
Right. So hey, now going forward, we got our final topic. That's gonna be the biggest part of our whole show. Is who is the face of boxing?
Who is truly the face of boxing?
Who
is the face? Not of the heavyweight division, not of the lightweights, welterweights, and middleweights. Who is the face of the entire sport of boxing, and why? Go ahead, D.
Three-headed monster.
We don't got one.
I'd say it's a three-headed monster.
Yep, there you go. We don't have one.
Let go ahead, D. Say what you got to say and go and kill it.
All right, so my idea is this. We don't really have one. Right now, it's like, you know how you got that son or daughter and they trying to find themselves. They trying to find their identity. That's where I feel like boxing is right now. We don't have a face of boxing because there's an argument, especially if AJ come back and win his belts. The argument could be AJ. The argument could be Canelo. Shout out to the LDBC, but you know who their argument is. You understand what I'm saying? We don't really have a face in boxing right now, bro. And I truly believe that. Like, there is no name that you can say, boom, that's the face of boxing. Is there guys that are doing more, that's more in the limelight here, more in the limelight there? Yeah, it is. But truly a face of boxing, I really feel like we don't have one. That's just how I see it, bro.
Dope. Two hands.
Honestly, I truly believe it's a three-headed monster. But honestly, I feel like with the three-headed monster, I don't feel like it's generally like a competition between the three, because I think they all bring the same kind of thing to the table. And what that is energy. Like, they bring a certain energy, and it's really culturally driven. I think the only one that could probably separate that is Anthony Joshua, due to the fact that he's an Englishman. He speaks the language. You know, Canelo, he doesn't speak the language, and he just happens to carry that star power. Manny Pacquiao, he speaks it choppy, but he carries that star power. So I just think that, like, they're kind of like towing neck and neck right now. They all got good promotion. They all just fill the seats up. So if you're looking at a venue and you're looking at these three guys and they're all filling up seats, you really can't put one above the other, because I think all three of them are bringing what they're supposed to bring to the game. But the problem is, the guys that are supposed to be superstars and be ushering in those kind of sales, they aren't getting that. They're not bringing that type of energy that the three guys are, and we already know who they are. Like Terrence Crawford, Lomachenko, they should be the other two guys that should be selling tickets, and they're not doing it. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Like, nobody's moving the needle. And we always got to look to the same three guys to move the needle. So I can't really say nobody's really the face of boxing either. I'd say it's like a Mount Rushmore kind of thing right now.
Yeah, and let me say this right quick too. Like,
go in.
We don't really support. I mean, I don't. I used to be a fan of Wilder's, but I'm not now because of all the foolery. But dude, in a certain perspective, this is America. The most casuals with the most money. This man should be filling seats like hell, bro.
Right.
The heavyweight division has traditionally and historically been the most popular division. How the hell do you have an American heavyweight champion with 40 damn knockouts, and he is not a superstar? Do you remember what Tyson was, what Ali was? What, y'all understand where I'm coming from? Like, it is a problem. He should really be like a mega star, bro. He should be up there with LeBron James and everything, with what he's accomplished. I don't care if it is. Listen, that's what promotion's about. I don't care if he hasn't been fighting the best guys. When you got an American heavyweight with this much money and the most casuals, that man should be selling out the yin yang, bro. He should.
You have a point.
He really should.
You talking about Wilder?
He really should.
But to speak on what D was saying, like, I truly feel like one of the biggest problem in boxing is the American boxing fan. Because I feel like America don't even have a hand on the pulse or the heartbeat of boxing. I feel like, everybody wants to talk about it, but nobody's really involved with it. We don't even buy our own tickets. So we always look to go to Texas. We always look to go to Arizona, California, or we always look to go to Nevada to try to sell out to some Mexicans, to try to sell out to every other demographic except Americans. Americans don't even, they don't even contribute to their own fighters. Like, we're not coming out buying the fights because you can get 10,000 Brits on a plane. They'll come over to MSG real quick for one of their guys. Like, that's the thing. Like, when you look at British fighters and you look at the British community, American fighters get off the plane over in the UK and they know us better than our own guys know us. And that's the biggest problem.
Then, Two Hands, let me ask you a question. Has America promoted their fighters to the degree they need to be for the fans to be all supporting them and up in arms then?
Absolutely not, because the problem with it is they're not truthful to their own American fans, and we know that. So we not buying into their bullshit because we know what they feeding us. Like, everything that we want, the competition, we want the real smoke. America has always wanted the big drama show, as Triple G said. We don't give ourselves a big drama show.
And let me add on to you, bro. And I ain't trying to take over, guys. But
no, you ain't taking over. Kill it.
Let me add on to this. Another big problem is, and it's adding on to what this man said, is the deception. When you look at like UK, because I have fans, I only got a little bit because I'm just starting, bro. But I got fans all over the world, Ireland, Philippines, UK. Y'all come to my lives, y'all will see. Like, I got some fans everywhere, right?
No, they're watching this, bro.
America, they keep their fans ignorant to the sport. But a lot of because it's all about deception and lies, like my man Two Hands just said. So they keep their fans ignorant to the sports. When I talk to my fans from the foreign country, they're knowledgeable fans, bro. My Irish fans, they know boxing. My UK fans, they know boxing. My Philippine fans, they know boxing. Americans, like I just said, we're full of casuals. But they want them to be casuals. They want them to be dumb so that they can continue to deceive them.
To exploit and make money.
Right. Exactly. So it's
how the Al Heyman business model always works. You can sell somebody a person somewhere from the back alley of Mexico or somewhere over in Greece or Germany or something like that, never heard of, boost them up on the ratings, bring them over here and let Tank Davis move his shape.
Bro, Two Hands, if they failing on tape, if they're failing to sell what's needed to be sold on pay-per-view, his business model working?
It doesn't work at all, and ultimately it always catches up with you. It's almost like robbing Peter to pay Paul with your own establishment. Like
in a sense, and not, because when we talk about pay-per-views, right, and we talk about the landscape of America, and I'm gonna hit y'all with something right here. When we talk about pay-per-views in the landscape of America, who's selling the most pay-per-views? A show, the WWE. We all know that it's a show. Mm-hmm. And Vince McMahon sells more pay-per-views.
We know it's a fake and a scripted show.
And he sells more pay-per-views than all of them. So fool them all. And it's sad, but it's so, bro.
But the fans of the WWE know it's acting.
But still, it's selling. It's selling, and that's my whole point. Like,
it's more entertaining.
Ignorance is bliss, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's more entertaining.
These fans ignorant is ridiculous, though.
And I even spoke to that on my channel.
Hold on, Two Hands. You got big personalities, characters, and all of that, and they put their characters and the personalities of the rest of the wrestlers make them like beyond life, and that's what gets to the fans. And they start with the young people. Go ahead, Two Hands. My bad.
Yeah, I even kind of spoke to that. I even spoke to that on my channel. I was just saying, I was like, the problem with America is, I was like, the deception goes unnoticed because America has more casual fans than hardcore fans. So, you know, nobody's really thinking in layers over here when it comes to boxing. It's really blatantly on the surface. Like, so whatever they see, they're willing to take it for what it is, package it up, and move on with it and look for the next thing. It doesn't really, they don't really care to question it because.
What's your channel, bro?
Mr. Two Hands Up.
I'm getting ready to subscribe right now.
Yeah,
it's like
come on, you know us DMV boys be banging it. Hey, also let me add on then. Let me chime in, and then DT3 can close it out, and then we're going to end the show. I personally believe it's split. You could say three-headed monster for sure, but they're not pushing it. Pacquiao is there, but he's on the way out. So I got it as a two-head monster, and that is Canelo on the Western Hemisphere, Joshua on the Eastern Hemisphere. Those are the two faces of boxing, and they're both under the same fucking banner, and that's DAZN.
Mm-hmm.
So Canelo, I don't care what you think. People saying this because they don't speak English. I don't care. Do you know how creative? Do we realize how creative American marketing and industry has been over the last 100 years since the TV? It doesn't matter if Canelo don't speak freaking English. They can make American creativity and marketing is so American marketing and pushing is so creative. Canelo speaks English, and he does speak English. So do Luis Ortiz. But they do the political thing and let their fans of the natural tongue hear it first. Canelo knows enough words to make a commercial in America and it be big. Yeah. He knows enough words, but for some reason, Canelo isn't. They're not clamming to give Canelo a freaking commercial in America. So you got to ask your question, why is that? But Joshua got Under Armour, Beats, All of that.
Canelo had one, bro.
Canelo got Hennessy.
You know, no, he had the cable commercial. And guess what he did, Myron? The whole commercial, he said, "See."
Yeah, I see now. Okay, I see it. Exactly. So you know my point. So why don't he got 2 or 3 more of those?
I don't know.
I mean, Canelo's got a bunch of Tecate commercials. He's got a bunch of Hennessy commercials.
In Mexico. Right, he got those. He got those on the Mexican channels and all that. I'm talking about
he still got Nike.
Hold up. Even I'm talking about, so I don't want to lose my point. That's what I'm saying. Even when it pertains to Neymar, you could throw Canelo should be big enough. He's put in a movie somewhere. We ain't thought about it. How much they pushing him, you would think that maybe that's gonna come in the future. But Joshua, if you're making $75 million for a freaking rematch, bro. In one fight, Joshua is gonna make what Canelo make in 2 fights and then some. So you can't. It's hard to say that they're not the pusher and the money isn't behind Joshua to make him the face of boxing. That's without a doubt. And the money is and the damage control is the money and damage control is behind Canelo to keep him as a face of boxing in America. So I call it a 2-headed monster right now. And Joshua, if he wins the Ruiz fight, it's gonna be done. He's really going to take over if he wins his belts back from Ruiz. He's going to be the heavyweight. If they say as the heavyweight division goes, so do boxing, right? He's taking the helm. If you make it $75 million in a rematch, a record, a rematch, you lost the first one, and the motherfucker you fighting still only making 15. I don't know if that's the case, but we know somewhere around there. Come on, bro. Money talks. Money talks. So I think, again, right now, so it's the face of boxing is Canelo on the Eastern Hemisphere and Joshua on the Western Hemisphere that's fighting to take over the Eastern. That's fighting to take over. That's why you got. Why else would you have him in Miami with freaking Meek Mills?
Well, I don't think really. At first, I was like Canelo because he's got this big multi-million-dollar contract and he got this big resume and all that. But it's like at the same time, I feel like Joshua is because he's the cash cow of the heavyweight division. You got to mix that in some type of way, and it's kind of weird that Anthony Joshua still gets paid this super big amount of money. And even
most ever.
Yeah, it has the potential to still be the A side, even as a challenger. So it's just like I'm divided between them two. I'm divided between Canelo and Anthony Joshua. For one, because they both are the cash cows of boxing. Anthony Joshua is the cash cow of the heavyweight division. Canelo is just the cash cow of boxing, period. But I'm just divided, man, because if Joshua beats Ruiz a second time, that makes him a 2-time unified heavyweight champion. So it's like, if Joshua beats Ruiz, 2-time unified champion, and if Canelo fights a Bivol or Better Biev, it's like who do you pick? Because both of these guys is doing tremendous things in boxing. They're still willing to fight whoever, whenever, however. They're not ducking no real big smoke. Everybody talking about they ducking Charlos or they ducking Wilder, but they're not ducking no big smoke. None of them. I don't see Wilder sending Joshua no big deals. I don't see Wilder sending no fighter no big deals. I don't see that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
okay.
With that being,
can I ask y'all one question before y'all shut it down?
Yes, because before everybody in the chat, before everybody watching right now leaves, hit the like button on your way out, beautiful spirits. Hit the like button, support the channel. Before you leave, hit that like button. Go ahead, bro.
All right, so have you guys, I don't know if y'all talked about it before I came on, but have you guys heard about Al Haymon being exposed with this whole slave wage contract and all of that?
No, but do tell.
All right, what I'm doing right now.
Oh, but DT3 got to go. DT3, you want him?
Yeah, we don't got that much time. We got like 3 minutes.
To show another hour.
Okay, hold on. So D, close it out on the thought. Close it out on the thought.
All right, look, my thoughts are This is a great damn show, bro. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. That's my closing thought. But I'm gonna put the link in the chat for that Al Heyman deal.
Do it, because I'm gonna read
All
it.
right, man.
Thank you, beautiful spirits.
All right, thank y'all for coming in. Love y'all. Y'all will see us next week. 10 a.m.
Everybody, man.
2 hands up. Subscribe to 2 hands up. Subscribe to Mr. Channel.
Pay a nigga no mind.
Subscribe to Mr. 2 Hands Up. Boxing Logics United. DT3 the Boom Man. And what's your channel again? Name
Speak Your Mind Sports Talk.
What?
Speak Your Mind Sports Talk.
Subscribe to those people, beautiful spirits. One love.
100.
Thank you.
Good shit. Good shit.
You ended DT3? Cut it.
Yeah, I cut it.
It's still running.
I cut it. I cut it. I cut it. It's cut.